All right, I'm going to try to record a tutorial of doing double core end bands. I think that's what they're called. Let's hope so I don't embarrass myself. First, I'm just going to show you what it looks like pre-sewing. And this is now, keep in mind, this is one of my earlier ones that I ever did, so it's not the best. But what you can see here is this is the cord, and this is a piece of a paper bag that I got from the grocery store. Works in a pinch. You've got your threads, and then you've got this row of beads in the front, which is the second core, the double core. And this is not made up of a core material like this. What it is made up of just strings. And I'll show you kind of how that works in a second. So I highly recommend keeping a ruined spare text block. In this case, my guillotine was not happy and it cut too close to my margins and I was really not happy with it. So here I keep it and I use it to practice my end bands. So yeah, hopefully at the end it will look something like this, but maybe even a little bit better. For materials, you're gonna need your needle. You're gonna need your core material. So for me, this is a 3mm leather cord, basic, off of Amazon. You're gonna have your colors that you want. In my case, I use this soy perlé. I don't know how to pronounce that, so someone may need to correct me. And then you're gonna need your extra threads to make up your second core. Lastly, you're gonna need your current text block. So what I do, this is my setup that I have. I take my text block and I set it between two pieces of chipboard and then I clamp it. It just works really well for me. I just really like doing it that way. I'm not holding on to the text block at the same time as I'm trying to sew. Get myself set up here. So first thing that I'm gonna do is, of course, thread my needle. Now that I've got all three of my cores, my threads, I've got all three of my threads on this needle. I've got my two colors that you're gonna be able to see, and then I've got my extra thread. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna put it through my text block signature. And I'm gonna bring it all the way through. All right, so once you've got your threads, remember you have taken your thread through the needle, you've poked it through the signature and coming out the foredge. Now I've got 3 threads here, and you have to decide which of these 3 threads you want as your first color that you're gonna start with. So I'm gonna start with this purple thread, and this is going to be called my working thread. And these threads over here, which consist of the extra thread and the other color, are gonna be called my non-working threads. So I'm gonna take them over to this side like that. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm getting ready to wrap this first cord, the working thread, around the core. Now you can see I don't have a core in there just yet, and that's because if I try to put my core in right now, it's gonna fall out because I don't have it tied down to anything. So I'm just gonna show you the little trick that I do for myself. So I'm gonna take my working thread through my needle, and I am going to poke it through the signature that I had just gone through with all 3 of my threads. And my finger right now is just a placeholder for my core. So I'm gonna put my core in there and I'm gonna cinch it up tight. So now I'm going to take my working thread, and I'm going to wrap it around the core and bring it to the back. Then I'm gonna take it and put it around over the top like this. This is always the most complicated part, in my opinion. And it has taken me quite a while to be able to do it without looking at my notes. So if you need to make notes, little cheat sheet, that's totally fine. So now that it's around to the front, I'm gonna take my non-working threads and I'm going to bring them over the top of my working thread. And you can see I'm still holding tight to this purple working thread. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go around the back on the left side. And I'm going to bring it all the way around again to the right. So now this is considered technically my first tie down. So I'm still holding tight to this purple thread, and you're going to see that I will continue to hold tight to my purple thread. This creates tension, which is going to be helpful to make sure that everything stays where it's supposed to. So now I'm ready to just start. I'm going to take my non-working threads and I'm going to bring them over my working thread, and then I'm going to bring my working thread over my non-working thread again. I'm going to take that, keep the tension, and I'm going to bring it all the way back around to the other side, to the back. I'll bring it over the top. I'm going to do that all again. I'm going to take my non-working threads, bring them over the top. Then I'm going to take my working thread and bring it over the top of that, keeping the tension tight, and I'm going to bring it around to the back. I'm going to zoom out so you can see what my hands are doing. So I've take my working thread, bring it over the top, take my non-working thread, bring it over, and then my working thread, bring it over again. Keeping my tension and bring it around to the back. Zooming in, so we're going to do it one more time. Bring it over the top. Bring my non-working threads over, and then my working thread over that. So kind of wrapping it around. Cinch it up nice and tight and bring it under. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I get to the natural spot where I'm going to do my first tie down. So you can see all of my signatures. You can see like the center of each signature. Some people I know will take it like a piece of paper and they'll put it in between each signature. For me, I don't feel that I need to do that anymore. I used to, but I'm pretty good at figuring out the center of my signature. And that's where you're going to do each of your tie downs. So I'm going to do at least one more before I do my first tie down. So I'm holding on, remember, to my working thread. I take my non-working thread, I bring it over the top, and then my working thread and bring it over the top again. And I'm gonna bring it around back. So now I'm getting ready, I'm gonna do my first tie down. So I'm gonna put my non-working threads off to the side. I don't need those right now. I'm gonna bring my working thread over the top like I have been all along. I'm going to take my needle, which I have not been using all of this time because I haven't needed it. Put my working thread through my needle. And I'm going to find the center of my next signature, which is right here. I'm going to poke through my signature. And I am going to pull it on through. And basically what it does is now it's back where you were. Like basically it's back pre-tie down. I'm going to take it over the top. Wrap it around like I have been. And bring it around the back. So you can see I'm keeping tension the whole time. You want to do this so it stays nice and tight. You don't have any loose threads flopping around there. So I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to bring back the original one that I showed you. You can see that some of the issues here are because I did not have good tension. That's why you can see like the non-working threads, it's not even. And as I went on, it got sloppier and sloppier and sloppier because I got lazier or my hands were shaking as they are right now. So that's what I want to avoid. So I'm just going to keep on doing this. I know I have another color that I'm going to show you eventually, so I am going to show you how to switch out the color, but I just want you to see this for a while. Okay, so remember, you're bringing your working thread over the top, and then you're taking your non-working thread over the top of that, and then your working thread over the top of that again. Keeping your tension, and you're bringing it around the back. Non-working thread goes over the top, working thread goes over the top of that, and keeping your tension and bringing it around. I'm going to do this one more time. And I'm going to do my second tie down. Bring it over the top. Got my needle threaded. Here's my next signature. I found the hole and I'm bringing it on through. Bringing it over the top, gonna wrap it around my non-working thread. That's another way to look at it. So I'll just stop here and explain it. So what I have been saying is, like, you take it over the top, you put your non-working thread over that, and then you put your working thread over the top of that again, and you bring it around to the back, right? But what you could also do, if it makes it easier to understand, is basically if you were to say, I'm taking my working thread and wrapping it around my non-working thread. So it kind of depends on how you want to look at it. Either of those is fine. Time for another tie down. Find my signature and go right on through. And I also just like to take time every couple of little bits here. I make sure it's all as tight as it can be. All right, I'm gonna go through one more signature and then we're gonna switch colors. I'm gonna do it one more time just to get me good and solid. So now once you're ready to switch colors, I'm gonna pause right here, making sure everything is looking good. I'm very happy with the tension of this. This is really makes me pleased. So you see you have your working thread color is to the back, and you take the color that you want to switch it to. The goal is to get it back and exchange it for the current color that's back here. You're gonna make sure that that thread is as close to the right side as possible. So like what you just saw was that it was like, let's say I had it tangled up a little bit like this. And you're gonna want, like, I couldn't do this. This is tangled and it's gonna result in seeing some of those threads through. And so I'm gonna wanna untangle that, make sure this blue is as close to that right side as possible. I'm gonna take it to the back, and then I'm gonna take my purple thread that I wanna switch out, and I'm gonna bring it back around the front. So I'm basically just replacing those. And now it's like where I left off. So now it's my blue thread. And I'm gonna now do the same thing I was doing before, but my blue thread is my working thread and my purple thread is in the non-working thread. So I am gonna continue to keep on going. Take my working thread over the top. I'm gonna wrap it around my non-working threads and keep going. Making sure always to keep that tension. So I think it's time for another tie down, and you can kind of see this, that it's ready when it's near the hole of your next signature. So you can see that my center of my signature is right there. So that means it's time for a tie down. I choose to typically do my tie downs, like right now what I'm showing you is that I'm doing them pretty much in every single signature, but when I'm switching colors more frequently, it usually ends up being every other signature. Whatever you want is fine. Time for another tie down. Bring it over the top. All right, so let's do a color switch again. So now remember, whoopsie, I've got my current working thread, which is my blue thread, out the back. And I want to make sure, and I want to switch it out for my purple thread. So based on what's happening here currently, I want to make sure that my purple thread is the one that's closest to the right side. So I take that and I wrap it around underneath my core and I switch it out for that blue one. Bring it over the top and it's like magic. Whoopsie. How did I do it? It's a miracle. And it looks like I'm right next to another signature again. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a tie down. And I'm gonna do another one. I mean, if you can, do as many tie downs as you want to or need to. Get those end bands nice and secure. And if you mess it up, and you will, because I do, and that's totally normal, just slow down, unwind it, and go back again. It is not a problem. There is no shame in stopping and taking a break. And no shame in doing it slow. All right, I'm gonna do another switcheroo here. Now, obviously, I'm not making any sort of pattern here because I just wanted to show you guys what I'm doing, but you can make as many fun patterns as you want, and you can use as many threads as you want, which is one of the funnest things about this. Like, I showed a video a few weeks ago on my Instagram of me using the 7 different threads to make an ombre type of end band, and that was really, really fun. And it's really no different than what I'm doing now. I just would be changing out my colors more frequently. All right, so my blue thread, I'm gonna be switching that out. Bring it out of the way. Under the core. And I'm gonna take my purple thread and I'm gonna switch them out. Now it's part of the non-working threads. Come on. Always keeping that tension tight. One of the nice things that I like about this setup that I have with using these clamps is that I don't have to worry about holding my text block. Because when I try to hold my text block, it does not go well for me. I'm gonna do a tie down here because I can see I'm in front on top of a signature. And you may also recognize that I am taking my needle off in between each one because it's clunky and it's gonna fall off. So I am just taking it off when I'm not using it. again, I'm not making any pattern right now. I'm just going. And so I'm just gonna keep on with this blue. I'm in the zone, man. Looks like it's time for another tie down. I feel like I need some tunes right now. I need some Chapel Rowan. Singing some Pink Pony Club. That would add some good ambiance. Oh, so you can see like one of these got like tangled. So just make sure that when you're putting your tie down, it's like not wrapped around it multiple times or anything like that. Oh boy, see, got a little bit carried away there. Slowing down, need to hold on to my correct threads. And I apologize for any loud breathing. Or sniffling. Always remember to keep that tension in there. The moment you lose your tension, the moment you're gonna get weird bubbly things and your extra core threads are gonna start showing through. And I'm just gonna keep on going with this. I'm not gonna do another switch out, and you're gonna see I'm almost done. I'm gonna end soon and show you how to tie it off at the end. Now, the tying off is thankfully like the easiest part of this. I love it. It's so easy. So you can see I'm getting close to the end here, getting close to the last signature. So I'm gonna go one more. Once you're to the last signature, it's gonna be as if like I am getting ready to change colors. I'm gonna leave this working thread back here, okay? I'm going to thread the remaining non-working threads. I've taken the remaining non-working threads, and I am actually going to just put those through the last signature here and bring them through to the back. It is as easy as that. All right, so that is it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue down those extra threads. So that is how that goes. So you can see this is what the back looks like with me having gone through every single signature. Obviously, if you go through every other or every third, you're going to have fewer strings holding it all together. You can see the last threads that went through that last signature. And what I'm gonna do here, honestly, is I'm gonna take some PVA and I am going to just like put a little dabble right on the back of all those strings. And I'm just gonna glue them down. No need to tie a knot. No need to do any of that. Just glue it down and then let it dry. One thing that I don't have to really worry about as much with this perlé, because the perlé is so lovely and it's so easy to work with, it doesn't really get fuzzy. But when I worked with embroidery thread, it got a little fuzzy. And so honestly, what I would do when I was working with embroidery thread more is I would just take a dabble of the PVA and I would put it over the top. I do take a little dabble and I put it over the side here. Just to make sure it stays where it's supposed to. And I take my thumbnail and I just kind of put it over the top there. So yeah. Hopefully that was helpful. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to make the next tutorial a little bit easier to understand, because I would like to hopefully do a good job for you all, and so you can all learn to do this if this is what you'd like. Thanks, have a great day.